Welcome back. Here are the three most important things that you absolutely must know in order to quit smoking successfully. Number one is that your subconscious mind does not know a negative. Quickly, don't think of an apple. What was the first thing you thought of? Of course, it was an apple. Perhaps right after that you thought of a different type of fruit, but your initial response was that you thought of an apple. Now, why does this relate to smoking? In the past, you've most likely said, "Oh, I'm going to quit smoking and I'm not going to have cigarettes and I'm giving up cigarettes and I'm giving up smoking and I'm going to stop smoking for good and I'm not even going to buy any more cigarettes." Sound familiar? Well, all that your mind heard was smoking, cigarettes, cigarettes, smoking, smoking, cigarettes. And although you had very good intentions with those statements, you actually made things worse. Most likely you probably went outside and you lit up a cigarette. So I tell all of my smokers there are three words that you must eliminate from your vocabulary. The first one, cigarettes. The second one, smoking. And the third one, smoker. The only word you're allowed to use is the word non-smoker. If you think about it, when you hear the word non-smoker, there are no cigarettes and there is no smoking associated with that image or with that picture. So rather than saying, "I quit smoking" or "I'm giving up smoking," you're simply going to say, "I'm a non-smoker." Think about it. Non-smokers don't talk about smoking or cigarettes. So as you are now becoming a non-smoker, there is no more need, there's no reason why should you. So eliminate the words smoking, smoker, and cigarettes from your vocabulary. Number two, you must change your habits, routines, and patterns. You may or may not be aware of it, but you're running specific patterns in your life when it comes to smoking. Perhaps the very first thing in the morning you do is you get up, you turn on your computer and you make a pot of coffee, and then you go back, you check your email, and once the coffee is ready, you get a cup of coffee and you walk outside on the balcony or the patio and you have your cigarette. After that, perhaps you go and you take your shower and you get ready for work. Now you run many patterns unconsciously, and that's just one of them. So what I would like for you to do is I want you to switch the patterns around. Number one, get up, take a shower first, then make your coffee, and then perhaps read your email. Change the order in which you do things. If you smoke in your car, there's a specific pattern you have most likely. Perhaps the first thing you do is you buckle up and then you start the car, turn on the music, and then you light up. So I want you to switch the order of things around. Rather than buckling up first, start the car first, then buckle up, then turn on the music, and then drive off. Perhaps you light up every time when you get onto the freeway or at a certain intersection. Change up things, take a different route to work or home from work. That will definitely also help you. Also look around, where else do you have specific patterns that lead to smoking? Find them in your life and change them around. Many of the patterns you run unconsciously. Perhaps you've experienced in the past that you lit up a cigarette, but you already had one lit up. So change your patterns and your daily routines. Number three, places become triggers. Most likely you have designated smoking areas. Those little places where you smoke the most. It could be a patio, it could be a balcony, maybe it's the garage, maybe it's in the back alley. But most likely you have specific areas where you do smoke. So what you want to do is you either avoid these places altogether or you change things around. For example, if you always sit in the same spot on your balcony, it's the exact same chair, stop sitting in that chair. Sit in a different chair. Your mind has not made that neurological connection between that particular chair and smoking yet. You can also change your surroundings by moving furniture around. So change your environment. Even a small change can help a lot. Here are a few things I would like for you to know about withdrawal symptoms and cravings. Mostly they are due to the fact of mental expectation. That means people expect to have them and therefore they do. You can compare it a little bit to a placebo effect. when people receive a placebo pill and they actually do get better. It is the mental expectation, it is, sort of speak, a post-hypnotic suggestion they give themselves to get better, to feel better, and therefore they are. Of course, when you stop smoking, the thought of smoking or cigarettes will still come up. But don't worry. It is normal because it is something that has been in your life for such a long time, so it is only natural that those thoughts come up. But those are just thoughts. So what I would like for you to remember, if a thought comes up, simply because that would have been a time when you have smoked, you just say to yourself, oh, I'm a non-smoker now. I want you to change that thought. Imagine what it would be like if you have a dog for a very long time and all of a sudden that dog passed away. Now, it would be the time you would have walked the dog. And you say, well, I don't have Fluffy or Sparky anymore, so I'm not going to walk the leash by itself. You are aware that something is different now in your life, and you change the thought and you do something different. So if the thought comes up of a cigarette, don't freak out, don't worry, just say, I'm a non-smoker now. And you change your thought and you direct your attention to something else. The main reason why you don't have to experience withdrawal symptoms or cravings is because smoking and nicotine is not an addiction. Now you may be thinking to yourself right now, well, that's not true. I've been hearing that smoking is an addiction. Now look closely, who is telling you that? Most likely the companies that want to sell you the patch or the gum or something else. The reason why I say that smoking is not an addiction is, number one, you have most likely gone for extended periods of times when you didn't smoke, and perhaps you forgot to smoke because you were engrossed in an activity. You can sleep through the night without needing to get up and have a cigarette. Perhaps you have been on a long flight and you were just fine for the longest amount of time. Yes, the last 30 minutes were probably difficult, but let's look at why it was. It was because you said probably to yourself, in 30 minutes I get to have a cigarette, only 20 more minutes, 15 minutes, and you made the countdown to when you could have a cigarette. So just focusing on that cigarette makes you want one. And as we said already, as you are now replacing the words smokers, smoking, and cigarettes, you just change the thought. And by not using those words, it is less likely that those cravings and withdrawal symptoms come up. They are anyway just a post-hypnotic suggestion to your mind, much like a placebo effect. Another reason why I say that smoking is not an addiction is because I have worked with many smokers, some of whom smoked up to 3 packs a day, and they stopped smoking easily and effortlessly with this program, never experiencing withdrawal symptoms or cravings at all. You may be wondering, what is the most effective way to quit smoking? Well, according to the largest study ever done, which combined 600 studies from across Europe and the United States, it turns out that hypnosis was the most effective way to quit smoking. Now, we're not talking about the kind of hypnosis that you see in movies or at a fairground. We're talking about clinical hypnotherapy. This is, as a matter of fact, what I have been using for the past 12 years to successfully help countless of people quit smoking. So far, I've only offered this program to people who were able to see me one-on-one in my office. In my office, this program runs at $495, but I'm making it available to you now at a very low price. The program consists of a video and several audio recordings. The video is about 40 minutes in length, and in the video you'll learn more about hypnosis, what it is, what it isn't, the fears people have, the most common misconceptions, how it works, and why it works so well to help people quit smoking. You'll also learn about how the mind works and how it responds to post-hypnotic suggestions. At any given moment, you're completely in control. Imagine hypnosis being the car, but you are the driver, you're in the driver's seat. You're always in control. By now, you probably realize that it is time for you to really kick the habit for good. So if you're ready to commit to this program now, Simply go to the bottom of the page, click the button, and I will be with you every step of the way.